Hi, I'm Casey Vos, and I did my presentation over the visualization of your presentations for others when you are up to present in front of a group. Always start with a nice clean title screen where it has your title of it and who it's by so they know what they're to expect during the presentation. I put this slide in here because it was a slide that was given instructions for something simple like editing a slide in Google Slides. But as I looked at it, it had so much words to it that you're going to lose your people in your group to them trying to hurry up and read everything on the screen instead of paying any attention to the presenter. So when you're doing this, make sure you don't have overloading your people with too many words on the screen. Instead, have a clear title for it, give a couple bullet points, and your bullet points, make sure they have short text with it, but not to overload it because your audience will either listen to you or they'll be reading the contents on the screen. They're not going to be capable of doing both of them at the same time. Instead of that first slide that we saw with all of these words like this on it, simplify it. This is given the exact same instructions, just in a much more simple way, easier for them. They can listen to you as you're given the steps, but they can also look back on the few bulleted points to see if they miss a step or what they could do next. So just keep it simple like this for your readers. Also make sure it's in a nice large font where they can read it from their seats. A lot of times to you up close, an 18-point font might look big enough, but then once you get out in an audience, it's hard to read. So think at least like 24 to 30 would be best for them to be able to read it. Another great thing to do is when you have a big concept of an idea, put the in big bold terms, make the words stand out like this. You can also draw a little attention by having some icons or illustrations in the corner of it. When you are making a Google slide or a PowerPoint, make sure you don't overload with images. Images are great to add if they can enhance it, but this one's just overloaded with way too many images on it. Instead, when you do, choose an image that's going to add to your slide and make sure it's proportionate in size when you do. Using animations can also be fun and add a lot, but as you can see, this was just way too busy. It was drawing my audience away from what I'm presenting, and it's making them follow the bird all around the screen. So don't make it too distracting when you add some animations into your slides. The next thing, you can always put in tables to compare data. They show your audience nice, clear points of comparisons for things. It's not overloaded with words. It's a great visual for them to be able to see as well. You could also use charts that explain your big ideas, where you can compare 3 different things very easily with very little words, but it's very appealing to the eyes. The other thing you can do is put a map in there. It can show a location of something where you're talking about so they can see visually exactly where you are at or located. Another thing that if you want to make a big impact, take the image and use it the whole size of the screen so it puts that big impact of that image. Put a few words here with it as well, but the image will really stand out to your audience members if it's the full size of the slide. Videos are a great way to kind of break up your presentation and change up what your audience members are doing. You can link a video right to your presentation where they can click on it, go view the video, and come back. I did a short little Kansas State video that we had just done in the classroom with my students. So it's a great video that they can click on, go watch it, and come right back to your presentation. And it just helps enhance it a little bit more. You can also show your content by splitting it into 2 different ideas. You can put one idea on one side and the other idea on the other side. Use some bullet points to list your information. Keep it concise where it's not a lot of words when you're trying to compare things, and try to line them up evenly so they can visually see the comparison right there on the screen. Another thing, when you want to review some concepts at the end, a good way to do it is by putting your bullet point terms. Keep it very short, simple, just to a few words. Have them come in, use that animation one at a time. So as you're talking about it, you can slow it down or speed it up to have them come in at different times. But as that word comes in and you're talking about it, they'll focus just on that one key term instead of having all the, and then it helps re-spark that what they learned about that concept throughout the PowerPoint as well. Then the next, just always make sure you end your slide and give credit where credit's due. I got this presentation off Slides Carnival, and I was able to download it and edit and change some things around in it, but able to still keep their templates. So make sure you give credit where the credit's due when you use other people's things. That's my presentation on how to keep your presentations for your audience members decluttered and visually appealing to them, where they can also pay attention during your presentation instead of getting lost in a sea of images or animations or text. Keep it simple. Remember what you want your audience members to do if you want them to be reading off the screen versus listening to your presentation. So thank you, and have